Morning, everybody. Appreciate you being here. So a couple quick comments. We need to count the number of events, but it's over 190 live events that we've offered so far. And I don't like to get bored at my own event, so I script all the discussion panel questions for the whole event. None of our speakers are paid speakers. A lot of investment conferences you go, and you'll have a former Army general that was paid $50,000 to talk for 10 minutes, or a theorist from Oxford University showing you a bunch of economic graphs on stage for 45 minutes. I would want to leave my own conference if that was the case. So it's fast moving. The longest that anybody speaks is 15, max 20 minutes with questions. We have a billionaire coming in from Israel to speak with you on Friday. We have a discussion panel full of billion-dollar-plus family offices. We have a professional athlete panel full of athletes, with more professional athletes here in the audience today. We have over 150 speakers you'll be hearing from, and none of them are the paid speakers, so they're here to get a deal done. And each one will be asked, what are you investing in? What are you looking for? How do you like to structure deals? What's the number one thing you want to put money into right now? And by leaving, you're going to get a sense of a group consensus of what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the family office space, and you'll leave with new structures, strategies, and niches that you'll want to investigate further, and hopefully new friends as well. We're really moving to building a community, not an event business, and we've been doing that for quite a while now, and now we're doing that exclusively, and as Andres mentioned, not really selling the one-off tickets at all for that reason. All right, so I'm going to go through a few slides to start out today. Make sure you get an ROI off of your time here, and kind of introduce who we are and what we do. As Andres mentioned, my name is Richard C. Wilson. I started the organization in 2007. We now have 25 full-time professionals on our team, and there's some changes coming to the Family Office Club, which I'm going to be going over here with you. First of all, I'm going to show this slide every day of this event so that we drill in how you get a great return on your time here today, because I've had to go to all 190 of our events, so I've learned there's not just one way to get an ROI. So one is investment structures. I'm going to be talking another day about how a structure of an investment can be just as important, if not more important, than the strategy of the deal. So if you haven't dug deep into different investment structures, you should be taking away lessons on that. Different investment strategies. And then you might be about to pull the trigger on a new division, a new acquisition, and it might give you conviction to do or not do something based on everything you hear from over 100 people the next 2.5 days and people you meet here in the room. Also, you might meet an investor for something you're working on, of course. You might meet a JV partner or a co-GP partner. And what that means is, like someone that just signed a term sheet last month, who they met at our last quarterly event in New York. They signed a term sheet that funds all of their deals up to $300 million in assets under management, and they only manage $30 million of assets under management. But they meant someone that said, well, if each of your deals underwrites at this quality, such as this, we'll just fund all of your deals, and you don't need to raise capital from a whole bunch of different investors all the time. So finding a JV, co-GP partner is possible. Meeting peers who can hold you accountable, that you can keep in touch with, is one benefit. And then the other thing is that there's a lot of family offices here that are sort of hidden. Like, they don't have the business name Wilson Family Office or a job title CIO of a family office. They might say, oh, we run a few car washes, and they might be humble. They might run 130 car washes. They might be the wealthiest person in the room, and you might just think they're raising capital for their 2 car washes. Oh, I own a couple dental clinics, but maybe they own 6 of them, and they're doing $23 million a year in revenue and making $4 million a year in profit, and they need to invest into real estate or an operating business. So not everyone runs around with a name tag, family office, or I'm ultra wealthy, and so just treating people well and getting to know them, adding value to other people first, is just something to know about the family office industry. The other thing to know is that some people come to an event and say, oh, well, there's a little bit too much people looking for real estate. Well, it's kind of like complaining about gravity on planet Earth. If you make your money in stem cells or being a dentist or selling your manufacturing company, you're probably going to want 20, 25% or some amount into real estate as well. So it's just something that investors like to have some in their portfolio, regardless of what niche they made their money in. So that's just a reality of any family office event you go to. And we've had people, I just had a call from someone who was a charter member, didn't have any money to his name, started building up his business by being a member here at the Family Office Club. He's now sold part of it for $175 million, and he'll become a billionaire next year if his company goes public. Michael Scott is here, I believe. He had never raised capital, came here, learned how to raise capital, and I didn't know he was going to say it, but last year credited us in part for being able to acquire a company in the cannabis space and sell it for over $100 million last year. We also have Meg Epstein, female real estate developer, just starting out. She skipped the whole raise capital 50K, 100K at a time stage, went straight for family offices, spent 18 months politely following up, raised an $8 million and a $40 million check, and now she manages $500 million in real estate. A $40 million check is equal to 400 $100,000 checks. So it's worth time being a little bit patient and building a relationship. I took way too long on that slide, so I'm going to go faster now. So this is our team. This is what we're most proud of. This is how we get everything done. This is how today's event happens. So if you need anything, please let them know, and we'll try to serve you and answer any questions you have. This is my home team. So that's my wife, my 3 daughters there. We try to go on one really fun trip every quarter. We're going to Nepal to Everest Base Camp on like a Sherpa guided hike in April, trying to make it down to Belize, visit the Nagel family down there, and every summer we go on the Pacific Crest Trail on a trip or two. This is us in the Narrows last year. My wife and I did rim to rim in the Grand Canyon. It was in one day we did 45 miles, 11,000 feet down, 11,000 feet up. We like outdoor adventure stuff. If you guys are into that, then we can follow up and talk about that as well. And I know you have a cost of being here. That's the most expensive part of being here is your time. You could be doing something with your spouse or your kids instead of being here. And that's why we try to get so much done per day and have so many speakers on stage. We have more family offices registered with us than any other investor club. We started in 2007 and written over 13 books. Here's a couple of the books we've written. We've got some of the free books out there for you to pick up while you're at the event. We now have $85 million worth of deals closed this year, and we're really focused in 3 areas. One is just listening to our clients. If they're worth $50 or $100 million plus and they say, I want you to keep me in mind for dry cleaners or stem cell companies or manufacturing or dental clinics, whatever it is, and we'll just keep them in mind. And if we can source something like that, then great. And then we'll do that for them as a family office client. So just listening closely to the niche ideas of clients. We also have a division that focuses on investing in multiple location medical and dental practices. And we have equity in a couple dozen medical practices that do $35 million a year in revenue in total and growing quickly. And then we also have our investorresidences.com Airbnb division, where we have 83 Airbnb properties within that investment fund that we kicked off with our launch webinar in September, some through co-investments, some directly held assets. So when we talk about deals we've gotten done, that's what we're doing, and we invite our best investors to come here in the room to be with you. In that way, if it's a great event for me, it's a great event for you, because my most valuable investor contacts are told to come here so they can meet our team, enjoy the event, and build their relationship with us, but also with you at the same time. If you haven't visited billionaires.com yet, I encourage you to do so. You can stream insights from billionaires there. We have just under 20 interviews done exclusively with billionaires. I just interviewed Mark Cuban about 3 to 4 weeks ago. We had Larry Namer, who's the founder of the E-Channel. He sold for $3 billion to Comcast. Leo Hefner here in the room introduced us to Larry, and he was on stage for a fireside chat at our last event in New York. If you're connected to any billionaire who would answer 3 non-invasive questions that would be super helpful to our community, we will thank you just like we thanked Leo. And you can see how we thank Leo at the top of the page of Larry's interview on billionaires.com. It's not hidden at the bottom. When we do an email blast, we thank Leo at the top of the email blast on social media, et cetera, because we are on a track to interview 100 billionaires, and we could use your help. If you know one that would answer just 3 questions via email, it takes 5 or 10 minutes, that would really help us out. Changes coming to the club. So we have a new member portal. We've spent the last 6 months rebuilding it. Like most things, it was supposed to take 2 or 3 months, but we're excited to launch that next week, hopefully. So that's coming up. Keep an eye out for that. Every event we do going forward will be as big as last year's Super Summit. So every event will be, every investor event is going to be a 2-day event with cocktails the evening before, not just a 1-day event. So if you've been a member for a long time, you know that our events are typically 1 day, and then the Super Summit comes and it's bigger. Well, now the Super Summit will stay as 3 days or more, and the quarterly events for the investor events will be 2 days plus cocktails. And if you're new to the club, just know that we have 15 live events per year, about a dozen capital raising, coaching, and mastermind workshops, and then 1 quarterly investor club summit like this that's a 700 person or 1,000 person plus event. And the workshops are just as valuable, if not more valuable, than being here, because here you're going to hear from a lot of investor voices and meet investors, but at the workshops you learn how to attract the investors and how to talk to the investors and how to close the investors and structure deals, et cetera. So make sure you check those out. We're now 6 months out on scheduling our events, and by the first week in January, we'll be 9 to 12 months out on all of our events on the calendar, so you can mark it out and not miss as many events if you didn't have those dates earlier. Our new membership fees starting in January are going up by more than 100%. We'll be at $7,000 or $7,500 for membership fees, but you're grandfathered in if you've already joined. So it's going to be more of a premium community, and will be becoming more and more premium over time versus trying to hold a 10,000 person event and just have like a mob of people. We want to have a quality community, and I think that's more valuable, and it's more enjoyable for the investors who spend their time coming to interact with people who are serious and professional and have been around the block a few times. We're looking for quality over quantity. We're growing our team. And we have different divisions to our business. We've got the event division. PitchDecks.com is our investor relations marketing agency. Andres just come up here and introduced himself. He runs that division. We have our family office databases.com division. Daphne runs that. Many of you know him already. And then we have our medical practice and Airbnb area. I wanted to share a couple images of what we're doing here, because some of you might have a vacation property that you visit 10 times a year and it just sits there. You know, it could be an Airbnb, but it's not producing you cash because it'd be a pain to manage it. Well, we have the infrastructure and the team to manage it, so that might be something that we could work on together. And it is something that could activate and make it an asset on your balance sheet into a monetized asset. So just go to investorresidences.com if you'd like to chat with us about that or investing with us. So I wanted to show a couple pictures real quick of the type of unique assets that we're acquiring. This is a property in the Grand Canyon. It was an outpost, a trading outpost for 50 years. And now we've turned it into a really modern Airbnb that sleeps 22 people. So we sleep more people in this Grand Canyon Junction area than anyone else in that area, and it allows us to charge more for those bookings. This is a home in Orlando. It's kind of decorated to be like a castle theme because people are obviously going there much of the time for Disney. This is an asset in Park City we picked up by paying all cash and closing in 17 days with high earnest money down. So we got a great deal on it. And this is an asset that we're acquiring right now in the Pacific Northwest. It looks like a Jurassic Park type themed property. So pretty unique. It doesn't matter if 1,000 more Airbnbs come on the market. It's not going to look like a trading outpost or a Jurassic retreat. And that's part of our strategy besides sleeping a lot of people at each of the properties. Most important thing I'd say about this is that when we say structure matters, we really believe it. For 15 years, I've been running this investor club, and so we designed a structure that we haven't seen elsewhere. We don't charge acquisition fees, we don't charge annual management fees, we don't charge you any fees until we get you all your money back and double your money. And that way you're winning before we're winning. I know it's a little bit of a crazy idea, maybe don't charge investors money until you've made them money, but I think that's kind of the future of where investment management is going, so that's the way that we have structured this. Latest one is Sedona. We acquired an acre property for $900,000 that was going for $1.2 million, and it has 3 structures on it. So we'll be able to sleep 35 people at this one asset. And out of 2,700 properties in Sedona, only 27 properties, 1% sleep 16 or more people, and 0 of them sleep over 30 people, according to AirDNA, which is not perfect data, but it's a unique asset, basically. So if anyone's interested, Laura is at the back. If you have any questions about it, if you have an asset you'd want to contribute into the fund, monetize, or if you're interested in investing, we are closing on the Jurassic Park theme type property on January 5th. So we'd be excited to have you as part of that platform, or if you're interested in the medical practice side of things or run a medical practice, and just let us know, because those are the 2 areas that we're scaling as we grow the Investor Club. So once again, I want to come back to this, because you'll want to keep on coming back if there's 8 different ways for you to get an ROI off of being here today. And so I just want you to keep this in mind as you're listening to speakers and hearing people on stage. Maybe you're here for one purpose, but the way that somebody describes what they're doing or how they run their family office or how they approach deals or sort through deals could really help make a substantial difference in how you operate day to day. All right, so that's it for me. I think we're 1 minute ahead of schedule for probably the last time of the whole event, so it's good to see. I appreciate everyone being here. I hope everyone has a fun time. I hope you enjoy being part of the community. If there's something that we need to tweak to make this an even better community for you, then please let us know and don't hold that back. That's how we get better. And we really want to have a community of like class act professionals who treat each other well, help each other, give each other advice and helpful resources. And all of you have 10,000 or 20,000 competitors who also either run a family office or run a real estate fund or run an operating business that's raising capital or run a PE fund. But out of all those competitors, there's not many here in the room. And the ones who are here in the room are probably not in your region or the exact same strategy as you. So just being open and helpful to everyone you meet is definitely appreciated, just to grow the sense of community over time. So I'd love to invite up now Peter from MPI Family Office and Vince Muno as well. And let's give them a round of applause as they come on stage.